11th talk series of phase 2 on supply chain management for clean cooking solutions. Uh, Before we start a session, just a big thank you to all of you for joining us. As we are well aware, in India, we've been all a part of India's journey towards clean cooking with LPG and PNG technologies. It's been a transformation step towards creating an access for clean cooking, but the journey from access to usage has had quite a few challenges, and most of us are aware of that. In rural and the peri-urban areas, establishing a reliable access and leveraging the network of the existing neighborhood stores is still a far-fetched story. Considerable progress needs to be made in enabling effective supply chains for clean cooking solutions by bringing together retailers, innovative last mile delivery channels, and local capacity building for the after sales service. Uh, Today's session basically addresses this, and we would focus on the downstream supply chain of clean cooking solutions and technologies from factory to consumer, the key players which are engaged and the challenges, what needs to change, and the scope of innovation to reduce cost, time, and make these supply chains most resilient and enable the transition to modern energy for cooking. So let's start today's session. But just before that, allow me a few minutes to give you a brief introduction about Modern Energy Cooking Services program, through which this entire talk series has been conducted. So Modern Energy Cooking Services program is a UK aid FCDO funded program working on creating access towards clean cooking and modern energy cooking based technologies and solutions, and enabling the transition to these solutions. The research under the program spans on a range of modern fuels, but there's a strong evidence for viability of electric cooking through energy efficient devices. My name is Sheetal Rastogi. I'm the co-founder for Finovista, and we are the in-country partners for Modern Energy Cooking Services program in India. And under our work, we work on an array of things, right from aspects of policy to supply chain to working on a lot of key initiatives under the program in India. And Talk Series is one of such initiatives. It's basically for the ones who've joined us today for the first time. It's a global platform that has been created in which we conduct these sessions on a monthly basis, and we are discussing on key aspects to the transition to modern energy based clean cooking solutions and technologies. Till now, we've conducted this talk series in two phases. The phase one has already been conducted with 12 successful sessions, and we're already on phase two, the 11th talk of phase two. It's a growing tribe, I would say, with a lot many global registrations and people who've been participating in these talk series. And with this, we'll start today's session. And just that the next talk series that we'll be conducting in clean cooking solutions. I'll stop sharing my screen on this, and with this I will like to invite our first speaker for today's session, Dr. R. Hari Kumar, the Director of Energy Management Center, Kerala, under the Government of Kerala, which is also the State Development Agency of BEE, Ministry of Power, Government of India. Dr. Hari Kumar has got more than 28 years of experience in the field of energy efficiency and renewable energy. And he's also the honorary founder, General Secretary of Society of Energy Engineers and Managers, the professional body of certified energy managers and auditors in the country, established in 2005. Dr. Harikumar, I would please request you to share your views regarding the aspect of supply chain management in clean cooking.
Okay, thank you. Let me first of all appreciate. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Harikumar, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Let me first of all appreciate the efforts of Finovista in transitioning to modern energy for cooking. And I also place on record my sincere gratitude for inviting me to share some of my observations and thoughts in this regard. See, I should first of all admit that till a couple of years back, the Energy Management Center, which I am representing, we were dead against this electric cooking because of our particular reason in Kerala that 70% of our electricity we are buying from outside, and most of our cooking coincides with our peak demand, where we have good shortage of peak. That also we are buying at a high cost from outside. But with the recent renewable energy proliferation in the state, particularly in our state, we have less land area and more of rooftop solar. Therefore, it makes sense for us to go towards electric cooking. Not only because of our rooftop solar intervention in the state, but because of the large-scale renewable energy penetration or feeding to the grid in the whole of the country. Electric cooking is now is absolutely important towards transitioning to our clean cooking. Now, Kerala being a very consumerist society, 10 to 12 years back, when this induction cook hobs have started coming to the market, the availability was there at that time in major cities. Now it is almost available everywhere. But people still have the feeling that whether it is too costly for them for cooking compared to the LPG. Because of that apprehension, the usage is not there too much. But still, we are working towards that, increasing the awareness, and then people will, and because of whether this can be cooked, many dishes can be cooked like that, some apprehension are there. Now, particularly coming to the supply chain management issue, which we are today discussing, to a great extent, in our Kerala situation, this induction cooks tops are available on almost all stores in the across the state, appliances stores. But if you go for commercial cooking, yes, it is not available. And the mostly available induction cooktops are in the range of 1,200, less than 1,500 watts. But when we go for this Anganwadi or institutional cooking, where you require food to be cooked for more than 20 or 15 to 20 people, then where we are looking for 2,000 watt or 3,000 watt, that is not available in the stores readily. But here I would like to also point a place before you a suggestion that particularly in states like Kerala, where we have rooftop solar coming up in a big way, we have almost crossed 700 megawatt of capacity, and that in that about 450 to 500 should be rooftop installation, because we have less of ground solar installation. Now, rooftop solar, we have got more than 2,500 integrators in the state. But the retail appliances showroom, they have not come in a big way in the rooftop solar business, but slowly people are coming. So there is a good opportunity or market when there is rooftop solar plus induction cooker or induction cooktops is given as a combo offer. Thereby, people will not feel the pinch of electricity cost going up. And the retail appliances showroom already have induction cooktops, and once that can be given as a combo offer, that will be good. And this microfinance business, we have observed that some of the microfinance agencies, while they are supplying these refrigerators and air conditioners, they are giving induction cookers earlier as a free of cost business. So maybe they will add the cost in the refrigerator cost, but to entice people buying for refrigerators and washing machines, they used to give induction cooktops earlier free of cost. But this Now the BE star rating program, I think induction cooker is still in the voluntary level, and once it comes in the mandatory level, people will have a good choice to make on looking at this thermal efficiency aspect also. One aspect, though I am not sure whether this is included in the supply chain, but I would like to just flag one more aspect and then stop. That if you ask me, the availability is good, but if you ask me the service quality, I would say I am not satisfied. People are not satisfied with the service quality of the induction cooktops, particularly even not only induction cooktops. If you take LPG, the stoves or OTGs, but mixie is okay. But such stoves, if you see, the service part is not okay. Now, suppose earlier when ESL has brought the price of LED bulbs to a very low level from 350 to 70 rupees through demand aggregation. There, I think there is a thinking for demand aggregation of induction cooktops also. But I would like to flag an aspect here that LED bulb, there was not much more issue regarding the service aspect, and the cost is also less. But here, if I would not say the ESL model is something, a market distortion is happening earlier, because the dealers are not involved in their supply chain. They directly deal with the OEMs. Now, for example, I have my office have got two make, Tata make and Hyundai make electric cars are there. We get the least importance when we go to the service to the dealer, because the dealer is the he sells and he service also, but he is not the person who sold me the vehicle. So he is not giving me good respect when we go to the service. Now, for example, if induction cooktops, if you go for demand aggregation and sell through leaving away the dealer network, then going for service to a dealer will be a great problem. But if you have service separate and the selling separate, two dealers are doing that. One dealer is doing the selling part, the other person is, the other company is doing the service part, then this may not be affected. But I would like to flag here that care should be taken that if both are same, and if the dealer doesn't have a voice in selling in a demand aggregation route, then service will still be more critical. So let me stop here given the time frame, and I wish all the success for this webinar series. Thank you very much.
Dr. Harikumar, thank you so much for sharing your views. And I think what Kerala is doing is actually incredible, and there's a lot that other states can follow. And as rightfully highlighted, the glitches actually on ground with the supply chain and after sales service with respect to these devices. And we look forward to today's panel discussion to see that what are the views of our panelists and how we can actually work towards solving these challenges. So with this, I would actually move forward.
You are on mute, ma'am. Ma'am, you are on mute.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Ravi Kumarji. And with this, we'll move forward to the next session for today, which is the panel discussion. And for this, I will invite Mr. Ravi Shankar Chaudhary, the Secretary General, Consumer Electronics and Appliances Manufacturer Association, SIAMA. And he's got over 15 years of global experience across policy governance, strategy formulation and implementation. And he's also the board member of the National Board for Quality Promotion and the Electronic Sector Skill Council, chairman for the Process and Systems Committee also. And Mr. Ravi, I would request you to take over the session with, I think you have a small presentation. And, there are a lot of challenges which have been highlighted by Dr. Ravi Kumar and Dr. Hari. and I will really request you to reflect those challenges with your panelists in the upcoming session. So starting with you.
Thank you so much, Sheetalji, for the great introduction. And I am quite privileged that I have got the opportunity to interact with the eminent speakers during this session. And I have got the opportunity to capture actually their insights. As you would see, they come from various backgrounds. They have different expertise and exposures. And we as an audience are going to get benefited from the various perspectives on supply chain for clean cooking. So just since Sheetalji has mentioned about the deck, I will just upload it quickly. I hope it's visible.
Yes, yes.
Just a brief background about myself. Since we have member organizations who are manufacturer or marketer of clean cooking devices, so I got the privilege of knowing their pain areas with respect to supply chain and distribution of clean cooking devices. The challenges they face in taking these products to the various nooks and corners of the country, what they expect from the different players in the value chain, how together all the stakeholders can enhance the uses penetration of clean cooking devices by the households. So I got inputs from many of our members who are into production and marketing of clean cooking devices, and I would try reflecting them as well. And we have discussed these across our forums, wherein we focus on certain themes. So clean cooking devices get placed into small appliances category, as well as from compliance perspective, we discuss on the various compliances in India. For instance, BIS related compliances, BE related energy start labeling compliances. So those matters we keep discussing, and I get exposure to these matters. So just to quickly introduce our eminent speakers, I would take the privilege. I'm honored introducing them. We have our eminent speakers, Professor Jayendran V. He is Institute Chair Professor, IIT Bombay, Industrial Engineering and Operations Research Department. A warm welcome to Jayendran ji from our side. Uh, we have Srijana Paudel ji. She is President, Women Awareness Center, Nepal. A very warm welcome, Srijana ji, from all of us. We have our speaker as Anubha Shukla ji. She is Director and Global Head, E-commerce, Husk Power. So we warmly welcome Anubha Shukla ji. And during the course of this session, I would like to get their perspectives on the various aspects of supply chain management for clean cooking devices. So as you can see, certain myths or the status of a few years back, I would say, clean cooking electric devices was considered as quite niche segment. Uh, uh, they considered people considered clean cooking as a very low technology, which is in fact not very correct. They considered it as unscalable, unprofitable, and all. And although India as a country achieved almost 99.99% of household electrification in the year 2018, clean cooking technology and uses of electric cooking devices still are very low. The penetration is quite low. It's still a niche segment. India, which is a country known for its diverse cultures and culinary traditions, has long relied on conventional cooking methods. However, there is a growing shift towards modern energy sources for cooking. Notably, electric cooking offers the advantage of faster heating and precise temperature control, both of which play a crucial role in preserving the nutritional quality of the cooked food. Uh, To promote clean cooking initiatives, the government of India has introduced many initiatives. You might have heard about Go Electric campaign, which was launched in February last year, 2021. This campaign actually encourages uses of electric cooking, electric vehicle, etc. And it has the potential to save the country in the tune of INR 8 crore annually on import bills. And according to Niti Aayog, which is the planning body for India, they have something called Indian Energy Security Scenario. So according to this, the reduction in energy demand will come from the introduction of more energy efficient cooking systems. In this talk series, we are going to get insights from our eminent speakers on the various aspects of the supply chain. Uh, uh, that would include, say, the various government schemes which can strengthen the supply chain in the country, distribution network, the role of local self-help groups towards distributing these devices, the role of retail chains, e-commerce platforms, and also the perspective on training and capacity building to the players, to the people involved in supply chain and distribution of clean cooking technology. And quite importantly, the technological integrations, whether we might have heard there are RFID tags, GPS tracking, so that there is a transparency in distribution of these devices, these products, and any pilferage from the system can be tracked. So all these aspects our speakers would touch upon through their talk. Uh, Moving to our first speaker, Jayanendra ji. If efficient supply chain management for clean cooking requires a multifaceted approach that addresses distribution, affordability, behavioral changes, and integration of various clean cooking solutions. The holistic strategy can make clean cooking more accessible and sustainable in India. In that perspective, we would like to know from you that the supply chain system for clean cooking in the country, which is at an evolving stage, and which many of us, hopefully you as well, believe that is the weakest link, and that needs support from the government or industry towards strengthening the whole supply chain system. Also, small and medium-sized companies often find themselves as at a disadvantage in supply chain management due to the higher cost of supply chain technology, not fulfilling the economies of scale in hiring talent. So it is difficult for SMEs to manage relationships with the supplier having large-scale business. That is one of the key pain areas for MSMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. So what are the options for such SMEs to derive advantage from the latest supply chain technology towards gaining efficiency and cost savings? So I would request your views, your perspectives on these aspects so that we all can benefit it by your words. Over to you, Jayendran ji.
Hello, good afternoon all. I hope I'm audible. It's
Yes.
a great pleasure to join the workshop and panel discussion today. Thanks to MECS and Finovista for inviting me. It's my honor to be part of this panel. Yeah, these are some of the really big questions. If we had a specific answer, it would have been very easy. But I'll try my best to throw some light on that. Right, like, if there was a another is it's not just a single weakest link, as I have been saying. For benefit of wider audience and us itself, see, clean cooking kind of supply chain is, and the product is unlike other kind of products out there. Like, for example, like mobile phones or computers or TV. It's different. They cater to a completely different kind of a need of the customer, and it didn't really replace whatever they were doing. There are other devices also, like like fridge, washing machine, grinder, which kind of helped replace some very heavy labor intensive old systems, which a lot of labor and space and weight, and which couldn't be easily replicable. So the switch to more modern technology was kind of obvious there. And of course, the people never considered energies, consumption, etc. when they did this switch. But when it comes to cooking, we are moving to something which is very personal device where people are very interested and do take pride and spend a lot of time in cooking very tasty dishes. And people have been used to doing flexible cooking kind of thing. If you want to, as was mentioned earlier by Mr. Ravi Kumar, Ravi Shankar, right? Sorry. So as people want to cook for one person, we want to use the same device. We want to use for 15, 20 people tomorrow, I want to use the same device. So you're using, different vessels and different utensils and interacting. And traditionally it has been, since fire was there with biomass cooking. And then the more common LPG cooking, which we have also been pushing for. And or even kind of CNG based. So people are kind of used to this open flame based cooking. When it comes to now clean cooking and electric cooking, it is unlike as we told about mobile, etc. Because we are actually trying to change the way whatever setup has been already created in the kitchen and add this aspect also, and which makes existing investment kind of makes redundant, existing practice somewhat redundant because you may need to do some more changes. And for enabling this will require us to think of a supply chain also in a very different way. We cannot compare ourselves with existing supply chains of mobile phones and computers and introducing new products in a regular manner, because customer base wants a more reliable product which is going to last long with the replaceable components and able to use regularly, right? Like if you think about gas stove, there's hardly any innovation. There's a gas stove, you can maximum get multiple burners and it is going to go high or low. Now with increasing innovation and changes, it becomes difficult for consumers to keep aware and keep up to it. So that is kind of, so that requires a different supply chain, right? So typically when you talk about supply chain, we have like this notion of, supply side kind of activities, like mainly looking at the manufacturing and product design and sourcing. And others on the distribution side or the demand side or the downstream side, as we call it, which talks about how to products reach the customers, uptake, service, maintenance, and so on. My opinion is the supply side challenges which is faced by industries is very similar to what is faced by other technology-based industries. So we are not having any additional challenges there. But the downstream and distribution aspects of it is a unique challenge that we are facing, which in that case, we can maybe mention that as a weakest link. But that is not just a single thing. In my opinion, it is a mixture of multiple related dimensions that is involved here. One aspect will be, the support infrastructure. If you think about it, we have, say, when, if you can dial back a few decades ago in India, when LPG was becoming a norm, at least in urban areas, the first thing was to ensure the supply of LPG cylinders. And when cities like Mumbai started doing CNG-based pipelines, and that huge infrastructure was needed. Similarly, when you go for clean cooking and electric cooking, then of course reliable electricity is needed, grids, transformer networks to be able to start the load becomes a big challenge there, which cannot be left to the individual manufacturers of devices to worry about, right? We usually assume these kind of devices, like for example, TV manufacturer never worries about electricity supply. In fact, the demand becomes high and the government provides the required electricity supply so that people can now watch TV and etc. etc. So that becomes kind of a related important challenge because I mentioned about social and cultural barrier of open and on flame. And then next is the upfront cost. LPG cost, even those days, was heavily subsidized when uptake happened. And slowly, so that people can take it up. I'm not talking about the last 10 or 15 years. I'm talking about 40, 50 years ago itself when LPG started. It was always heavily subsidized so people can actually move in, which is not really the case here. And because there are multiple components involved, the cost. So that increases the cost. Again, the cost is not only about the purchase, it's also about the replacement. There's already a lot of investment has gone in by people, over the years in building the kind of vessels and kitchen appliances that got built up. So that increases the cost and increases hesitancy. And other part is whenever we talk about clean cooking, it's all many times we talk about its health benefits, environmental benefits, etc. But we have to remember that at a consumer level, they always going to use a portfolio of fuels, like kind of a stacking part. Yeah. So now I am getting a okay. Sorry. Yeah. So planning for a optimum mix of clean fuels is what generally happens. So in that sense, maybe planning changing our desired mix that is provided household may also change. Yeah. So actually, I sent me a message, but I'm not using any slides, right? These are not my slides. I'm just talking on my own. Yeah. So maybe I'll take a couple of minutes. So the service and maintenance aspect becomes tricky because when with each product and each vendor. So now to overcome all these things, since it was supply driven, all the suppliers had their own kind of products which are supplied through local market. Then customers has access to range, but then it is not substitutable. Repair becomes very specific to that kind of product, and the competition is very high there. And if all these costs comes to the suppliers, and the distribution cost, awareness cost becomes high. So in my opinion, this kind of weakest link kind of thing becomes your infrastructure, the pricing, awareness, demand aggregation, cost reduction, providing flexible and customizable products, which kind of all interrelated. It's not like, you have to do only one. A mix of these things has to happen together, along with a huge push at the policy level for, large scale demand aggregation and helping this setting up this distribution network, especially towards common efforts. It would be my comment right now to start with. Perhaps even some aspect of shared IP and the shared distribution service networks can also help SMEs and more players to come in. So maybe I'll just stop here with my initial comments, and then I can come back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jayendranji, for your valued insights with respect to one of the weakest links that needs to be strengthened, and what all could be done from government and the other players of the value chain to strengthen the supply chain with respect to enhancing the economies of scale that will have its impact on the various aspects of clean cooking, and also the challenges faced by small medium players that need support towards reaching the last mile of the country. So your insights were quite valuable, and thanks for sharing them at length with your immense experience. So once again, thank you so much from all of us for sharing your insights. In fact, I would like to quote a study by Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEW, that revealed that around 54% of households in India still use traditional solid fuels such as firewood, dung cakes, agricultural residues, kerosene, etc., either exclusively or in combination with LPG. And this practice actually contributes to indoor air pollution. And shockingly, the estimates mention that household air pollution resulting from these conventional fuels lead to around 4 million deaths annually. That is actually surpassing the combined death toll of malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV together in India. It's estimated that 500,000 deaths each year can be attributed to household air pollution from cooking, with women and children being the majority of victims. Enhancing access to clean energy is essential to achieve multiple objectives, including the well-being of women and children, improved health, as well as climate goals. The accessibility of clean cooking fuels is one of the indicators used to measure multi-dimensional poverty in the National Multidimensional Poverty Index baseline report launched by the planning body Niti Aayog in 2021. Since we have our speaker coming from the background wherein women, children welfare are looked at, so I would request our eminent speaker, Sri Janaji, to kindly share her thoughts on the areas like women have the primary responsibility of cooking in households, and improving access to modern clean cooking solutions is actually directly linked to women's and children's well-being. Keeping in view these basically pain areas or the burning areas, what should be the suitable strategies for promoting e-cooking through creating through awareness campaigns, creating awareness among the value chain players, users, beneficiaries, etc., and enhancing participation of women in the supply chain management for clean cooking devices. And we would also request you to share any best practices, any examples from Nepal for towards their implementation that we can replicate here as well, that we can refer while taking those best practices ahead in Indian context. Over to you, Srijana ji.
Ravi ji, can I request you to stop sharing your screen? The slides
Sure,
that you
sure.
shared are still
Yeah,
visible. Yeah.
Uh,
sorry, I have done it.
Thank you, Ravi sir, and namaste everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Srijana ji, quite well.
Okay. Thank you, Max and Finovista, for this opportunity. I am truly honored to be part of this panel discussion and share a remarkable journey of my organization, Women Awareness Center Nepal, in promoting e-cooking through awareness campaign and enhanced participation of women in supply chain management of cooking devices. We can have done few projects with the support of MECS, and when we began during pilot study in 2021, we went to remote village in Temal and one of the municipality of Kavre, Banepa municipality. So Temal was from rural area and Banepa was urban area. So we began from there. And at that time, the knowledge about electric cooking device, especially we were there to test electric pressure cooker. So that was minimal compared to other cooking device like induction cooker and electric kettles. So it wasn't easy to change the perception. Like it was very difficult for us at that time, especially for those who were using firewood free of cost, and then they were used to with LPG for many years, and also they had experience disappointments with cooking devices like rice cooker, and some had even broken the device and could not find the service center to repair it nearby their village. So that was the situation at that time. Therefore, when we went to that village, we started with the awareness campaign, and we educated community about the utilities and benefit of electric pressure cooker at that time. And followed by the awareness campaign, we also did a live electric pressure cooker cooking demonstration was organized by our organization to give the participants the first-hand experience. So, and hands-on experience helped a lot in community in accepting the device. And we prepare the food, and then we also serve those food to the participants to taste. We also like teach them to how to clean the inner pot as well, because even like that was a costly equipment, and then it was very important for them to handle it properly. So we did that as well. So the awareness and demonstrations were able to create the curiosity to learn and operate the device at that time, but still there was a problem in operating the device. So once the device was distributed to the household, we appointed our field staff, support staff for regular follow-up visit, and they used to quickly respond to participants' queries. And as our support staffs were local women, it was very easy for participants to call them and learn, because in the society like in the Nepali society and maybe like in Indian society, it's very difficult, So it was very easy for women to learn from women, and it was very easy to call them inside their house. So that happened, and then our support staff used to bring the device to the service center in Kathmandu, because there was no any service center. So whenever there was any technical issue, our staff used to bring the device to Kathmandu. And Wacom is still providing the logistical support for repair and maintenance even after 2 years of program. So what this has helped is like the people have started, like the community has started, the women have started accepting the devices. So what we have experienced is like people in both urban and rural locations are willing to use the and pay for electric cooking on regular basis only when the product is of good quality, because the quality should be very good. Until and unless the product is of like worse quality, the community will not accept it. And when there is a local after sales service, and when they have the local financial organization who provide loan in the community, then people can accept the electric cooking devices easily. That is what we learned. So based on our experience, in order to promote awareness campaigns and enhance participation of women in supply chain management of cooking devices, maybe like first of all, we can mobilize women for women-led saving and credit cooperatives, SACCOs, on members to members awareness raising on benefit of electric cooking appliances. As a cooperative is a place to share space for more significant interaction and then cross learning through information sharing and best practices, we have experienced that women to women learning is socially acceptable in country like Nepal. So women can play important role in awareness raising, and this is very important because the awareness can increase the demand in the community. So when there is a demand, then the supplier are also interested to supply the product to the community through the place. So that is what we have learned. And then secondly, women-led SACCOs can also act as a retailer or supplier of the quality cooking appliances having warranty of at least 2 years. And because like when we introduced the product in the community, it was Philips EPC, and it had 2 years warranty. It has 2 years warranty. So the community, they accepted it easily, even though the price was very high. So the people want the good product with warranty. And and women from the SACCOs can become the sales representative and increase consumer confidence, because as I told you, like the hands-on experience was very accepted by the community, because in that we invited the participants who was using like in-depth analysis. We invited participants from electric cooking outreach program of MECS. So they were like a resource person, and what we learned was like the women can easily understand how their peer teaches them. So they can also be the sales representative and increase consumer confidence. And these SACCOs can also play important role in fulfilling the gap of demand and supply in local market, because in today's context, on the demand side, lack of awareness, and on supply side, there is lack of quality product, and after sales service is a big issue. So like if the cooperatives become the retailer, then this gap can also be fulfilled. That is our experience. And the women member in women lead SACCOs are mobilizing local resources, like they are every month, like they are doing regular saving, they are generating the funds. So they have their own funds in the community, and these local organization can help the interested women to purchase the electric devices, so that the financial issues can also be solved. So they can also help in contribute in providing loan to the members for purchasing electric cooking devices in group guarantee. So SACCOs are the local institutions who can contribute in supply and demand side as well. And women-led SACCOs can also provide after-sales service where consumer can receive hassle-free repair and maintenance solution locally. So as many women are interested to become mechanics, technicians, women technician can also be developed who can provide repair and maintenance service locally. So this will help in participation of women in supply chain management. So in our next project, like we are trying to develop local technicians and distribute 1800 EPCs in partnership with local women-led SACOs, and the supplier is Sakar company. So provide after sales service by, we are also like establishing the local EPC repair and maintenance center in 15 SACOs operated by technically trained women member, and establish a self-sustaining supply chain that can be replicated beyond. So that is what we are doing, and what we are planning to do. So with this, I have come to the end, and if you have any question, I'm happy to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srijana ji, for your valuable words. In fact, you have showed us a path on enhancing the adoption of clean cooking devices, especially for the women in semi-urban or rural areas, since they are one of the key target audience for these products. Although in the tier 1 cities or metropolitan cities, they have got penetration. These devices have got penetration, but the rural and semi-urban areas women, they are still untapped. And your model in which you mentioned about the community participation, identifying leaders from the community, basically financing them, considering their say disposable income, etc. And also you mentioned about the aspect on learning by doing. You let them taste the food of the food cooked on electric devices, because there are concerns sometimes how it will taste, the flame is quite different, and so on. So this was something which is really quite impactful, while we get acceptance from the beneficiaries, the audience, and they see the live what is the product is not just the device but the food which has been cooked on electric cooking devices. And that's how we enhance the acceptability of our offering. And the model wherein you mentioned about the post sale services, there are people, local representatives available. It's not something, a product which has been say produced by multinationals, and the users are quite less educated. So there will be a challenge of interaction while some trouble comes to the device. So having representatives on ground will help. They will give the confidence to the users, to the beneficiaries, that if something goes wrong while handling the devices, which might be quite new for them, so there is someone available and they know how to avail those services. So all these aspects, I think, are quite critical. Very, very, very small aspects with respect to self-help group, community participation, community mobilization, institution building. Those are considered while we talk about very huge figures, numbers, etc. These are very much behavioral aspects that sometimes get ignored. However, the success lies with these small aspects, which actually enhances the acceptability of our offering, our product. So thank you so much for sharing your own experience, and I think those are quite replicable. We should try replicating those experiences, leveraging those experience, while we see how to enhance the usability of clean cooking devices. Thank you so much, Srijana ji, on behalf of all of us, Finovista team. Thank you. Uh, as we know, the emphasis on electric cooking is based on the recognition that e-cooking is a key aspect of mission life. Life is an abbreviation for lifestyle for environment. The term has been coined as India-led global movement aimed at encouraging individual and community action to protect and preserve the environment. Launched by the Honorable Prime Minister at the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of the Parties, COP26, in Glasgow in 2021. Mission Life actually aims to transform individuals into advocates for a sustainable planet who adopt eco-friendly lifestyles. Uh, Access to clean cooking energy is a critical aspect of India's energy transition journey. The choices made regarding cooking fuel can significantly impact India's progress towards becoming a sustainable economy. and transitioning from 100%
Ravi,
household.
I'm so sorry. I'll have to give you a heads up. We are we'll need to move faster.
Sure, sure. So I was just quickly coming to Anubhaji, our eminent speaker who has expertise in e-commerce. So Anubhaji, tell us about the feasibility of a person actually gifting a clean cooking device uh, over an online platform to his sister. A person gifting on the occasion of the festivity of Raksha Bandhan a clean cooking device in a small town or village, how feasible it is currently or in the near future.
Sure.
Also, kindly share your views on the role of e-commerce and energy service companies, ESCOs we call them, in enabling e-cooking supply chains. And do you really see any price advantages, etc.? And with this, I would also request you to touch upon some of the innovative models for supply chain that you think
Sure,
will work in the Indian context. Over to you.
sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ravi. I'm audible, right?
Yes, very well.
Okay, fantastic. I won't take a lot of time, Ravi, to answer the first question, not just as somebody with expertise in e-commerce, but also as a sister. If my brother was to come and give me a stove on Raksha Bandhan, I would be very unhappy. I would want something for myself rather than something that, and knowing our customers, right? They are exactly the same. We tend to assume that rural customers are going to be different to urban customers, but rural India especially is unbelievable in terms of how aware they are, how global they are, how quickly they are catching up to things and trends and everything that's happening across the world, and that's where we function. But let's come to the main question, right? I think this is something that Professor Jendran touched on, right? Clean cooking, the biggest factor towards success of clean cooking is actually the source of the energy, right? In our case in India, we are used to either the traditional biomass fuels or LPG, which urban customers are super used to. Uh, in spite of what you said, right? In spite of the majority of India being connected to the national grid, there are a lot of parts of India that are still not very reliable, right? They are weak grid areas, and that is the area that Husk operates in, right? So we wanted to talk about the fuel. In case of clean cooking, we are talking about electricity as a fuel. So I think the biggest thing for us to do is actually to just look at the practicality, right? As an e-commerce person, when I go out and I try to sell something like an induction cooker or an electric pressure cooker to a customer, I have to understand that the value that it brings to them. The value of a full-on solution that replaces their entire kitchen, which we touched on, is going to be higher than something that is just a gift or that is just an additional thing for their kitchen. Uh, now imagine yourself in a position of, let's say, a parent, right? And in most cases, mothers who have to send their children to school in the morning. Not only do they need access to power for when it comes to electric cooking, they also need access to, they also need confidence that they will have power, right? They will be able to cook. What you said, is the food more nutritious? Yes. Does the parent care about it? Absolutely. But before that, right? If you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of need, they need to be able to provide food to their children when they go to school. And if they have access to power where they will not be able to do that, or they don't have confidence to do that, they are always going to be dependent on alternate sources of cooking. So what we do as an ESCO company, and Professor Jendran, just like going back to what you said, right? TV manufacturers do not provide power to light up the TV, of course, but we are at a very unique position where we can bring you the cooktops and we can bring you the power to actually run those cooktops. And more importantly, as an ESCO company, as a renewable energy company, I think what we need to be conscious about is the fact that the service guarantee that we give. Yes, people cook at this time in the morning. We'll ensure that you have power. That is the first thing that we can do towards transition towards clean cooking. Coming to the e-commerce, right? The supply chain, the e-commerce aspect of things. See, I think the three things that needs to be, and that need to happen through e-commerce, especially rural e-commerce, which is a focus area for us, in helping the customer transition towards cleaner cooking, are providing them awareness, availability, and service confidence, right? Srijana touched on a lot of points on what women's groups can do in bringing a lot of these aspects out to the customer, right? But overall, if you look at it, uh, um, uh, these problems can of course be solved by people going to people's houses, but these problems exist, right? Let's talk about awareness first. um, there are still especially in rural areas, there's not a lot of confidence on clean cooking as the solution for them, right? You don't know how much time it's going to take you to cook on a stove, right? You don't know what all can you cook. Can you cook a roti or a fulka on an induction cooker? Is the electric pressure cooker exactly same to what a regular cooker is going to be like, right? And to a lot of these customers, their first introduction to electric cooking was actually the kettles that they bought, right? And we saw a huge uptake in the number of kettles that were getting sold at the time of COVID, when people were drinking hot water. And since kettle was not something that was, of course, there are good branded high quality kettles available, but people tended to go after basic kettles, and these were not great quality. They are all in dumpsters somewhere. So people don't really have a confidence on the quality aspect of things, right? So creating awareness about these parameters, right? This is one of the primary principles that we have in the e-commerce that we drive towards rural customers, not just towards cooking, but about everything, right? uh, Awareness and education are key part of what we believe is needed to succeed in selling to rural customers. How rural e-commerce platforms are going to differ to urban e-commerce platforms, and this applies more to cooking than to a lot of other things where people are already aware of technologies. They probably don't need as much awareness and education when it comes to a television or a mobile phone as they do in technological solutions like this. And let me tell you, like what our research shows us, like I said, Indian customers are highly connected, highly aware of what is happening in the world, right? Indian rural women are even more connected than it comes to men, right? They are watching more videos on YouTube, they are more connected on Facebook. And the women who were never stepping out of their houses, they are now buying online. We have opened a brand new avenue for them. So adoption there is going to be disproportionately high, because you are coming up with a solution that benefits them. You are coming up with education on solving their doubts and queries, and you are bringing it right to their houses that they were not able to do before, right? Things like availability, right? So like I said, one primary question is, we are talking about, we were talking about behaviors. One primary question that people have, and I've had them ask this, is we as Indians are used to these two hob stoves, right? The LPG hobs are usually a dual.
Ayushi got muted. Anubhaji.
Anubha, we can't hear you. Nay, can you check? We can't hear her.
Her mic is accessible, but I don't know.
Yes, now we
Sorry,
can hear you. I think no, Anubhaji, I think by mistake
Anubaji, you are on mute, please. Anubaji, you are on mute. I
you
guess
press
she's not.
the mic mute button, Anubhaji, by mistake, I think. Just check once.
We are not able to hear you.
You're on mute right now. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you see a mic button over there which you can unpress?
Maybe you can rejoin if that's more suitable to you. Can you rejoin the link?
Yeah, Anubhaji, if you will disconnect it and rejoin, I think it will it might sort the problem.
Yeah, she's rejoining. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Hi.
Now
You're
she's
not audible.
unmute. Now she's unmute, but I don't know why we are not able to hear her. But now currently she's unmuted.
That's
Maybe
okay. I
Anvaji,
think that
yeah, can you speak something and then we can check?
we are facing difficulty from her. It's okay. We'll move on with the session. So, are there any questions that you would like to take from the audience? We could
Yeah, I could.
move.
Yeah, I could see, Sheetalji, some of couple of queries.
Yeah.
One of the queries is basically for Dr. Hari Lumarji, if he is there. Dr. Purushottam Srestha has asked that who actually monitors the quality of services of the dealers to provide the quality and reliable services. If the dealers do give good service, is there any provision to take action on them if they do not give good service actually? So any thoughts, Dr. Hari Kumarji? And there is a question from KK Sinha ji for the speakers. Maybe Jayendran ji or Srijana ji can answer those. He mentioned that it is felt that higher import dependency for components of electric cooking devices made or sold in India could be a reason for availability of poor after sales service. Basically, they are mostly imported from outside, so there is no one available for after sales when in need. Hence, promotion of more local manufacturing could help in improving the local skill availability for offering better after-sales services. So, any thoughts, Jayendran ji, on this?
Yes. See, the one we have to remember, things are now becoming a big global village, right? Earlier, we can, used to manufacture locally, meaning even in a particular state. Now we are producing all over India and exporting. That is just expanded outside, and it is nothing particular to this particular type of products. With the rise of electronics, we have got a lot of, printed circuit boards and microprocessors, etc., where it is produced in few locations globally. It is not possible to replace everything. That is one. Two, we do have good production facilities here, where those microchips are produced elsewhere. The PCB themselves are produced in India in fairly large quantities, and the lot of assembly units are well set up here, and better designs can come in, more replaceable kind of parts, and can help address that. And already there's a lot of promotions or local manufacturing is helping. Local skilling definitely will help towards that, but that alone is not enough. We have to go more in helping demand aggregation. There should be some incentive for people to provide these kind of after sales service in a more larger numbers and so on. Yeah, that's my brief answer on that.
Thank you so much, Jayendran ji. Anubha ji, would you like to say something so that we can check also whether you are back with your audio?
I
can see
hope
you
I
are.
am.
Yes,
Am I
now you
audible
are
now?
audible. Yes, good. Please go ahead.
Okay. I was just wrapping up my point, Ravi. I am happy to take questions.
Yes, so on this aspect, Anubhaji, it is felt that the clean cooking devices are still import dependent. Most of the components are imported from outside. So there is a challenge faced while the post-sale support aspect comes in. So since they are imported from outside, locally nobody is available to repair them. That might be a bottleneck in adoption of clean cooking devices. So any thoughts that local enhancement, local participation would help?
So I'm not sure if that prevailing view is correct, right? Um, Service guarantee, quality guarantees, all of these are usually a part of the overall offering that the manufacturer or the seller provides, right? Even if the manufacturer is importing things from somewhere, they will be providing service guarantee. And service guarantees are going to be a huge part in adoption of new technology, right? Imagine any new technology coming in, not knowing how well it will work, and going like trying to go out and make that into a household thing. That's never going to happen. So we will even if components are imported, or even if the entire product is imported, they still would have to come with a quality guarantee. That might add to the cost of that quality guarantee, but I'm I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly certain that if like with the new prices in LPG, with the increase in prices in LPG, there is still significant value that comes in overall quality of the product, and people are willing to pay for it. So I think that's not really a problem towards adoption of the technology.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anuvaji. One of the queries which was put earlier was basically who in the value chain actually monitors the quality of services of the dealers who are actually supposed to provide the services to the end customers. If the dealers do not give good services to the end customers, what are the provisions, whether it's from the public sector or private sector manufacturers or marketers, what are the provisions for some action so that the quality services could be ensured by the dealers?
I think so. This is a highly fragmented sector as of now, right? A sector where changes are happening rapidly is going to be fragmented, which is the case over here as well. We see all qualities of manufacturers. We see manufacturers like Prestige, which are known and respected in the market, all the way to local manufacturers that white label and sell products, to government interventions, right? Products that come through that intervention, and the quality is going to be different in each one of the cases. For ourselves, we take complete responsibility of a product's guarantee, right? So even if we feel that a product will require services, we work it in the back end. So we, as the middle part, the reseller and the supplier, take this guarantee, because we know that that's the only way that we will give people the confidence on going with a new technology like this. It is definitely still an area that needs significant amount of work, and that work could come from a lot of different direction. But I think the best supplier is always the free market, right? If there is enough competition, if there is enough demand, and if there are enough players coming into this and making it into a commercial space, there would be support that comes towards service as well. And just like any other technology, this will evolve into having its own category of suppliers and their own guarantees.
Thank you so much, Anvari, for addressing the questions. And I'm sure these thoughts actually will trigger lots of questions among the audience, among the participants, not just now, but later on also, so that they could explore these aspects in detail. And once again, I would like to thank all our eminent speakers, Jayendranji, Srijanaji, Anuvaji, for sharing their expertise, experiences with us. And we could understand that effective supply chain management remains pivotal to the success of clean cooking initiatives in India. Fostering a healthier and more sustainable future for all its citizens, for all the users, beneficiaries, the entire value chain. I would request all our speakers to kindly turn your video on so that we can see all of you together. Meanwhile, if any further queries from the participants are there, our speakers would be glad responding to them. Or any more suggestions from Sheetalji with respect to questions?
I see a raised hand by Jalili.
Yeah, so we've requested her to type in the question, but we've not received that. Unfortunately, we can't have like a direct question asked from the participant during the meeting. So we've not received the question. Just wanted one more answer from you, Anuba, with respect to the aspect that currently, what is the kind of geographical footprint that Husk Power is catering to with respect to the e-commerce aspect, specifically in the rural areas in India?
So that's a fair question, Sheetal. So in e-commerce, Husk started off with the catering to the exact same areas that we cater to with our power supplies, which was sorry, which was the weak grid areas in rural UP and Bihar. We have further expanded to other areas of Bihar, and we are in the process of entering Jharkhand. But the primary mandate that we have, even towards the e-commerce business, is to cater to the rural customer, right? We are building a platform for the rural customer. We are building solutions and products that are relevant to them. And we intend to spread across India and hopefully soon to replicate the same in Africa as well, by having the correct product and the correct solutions and bringing them to the customers.
And since we will definitely be having a lot of people from the manufacturer side in the room or definitely hearing to this, just wanted to understand that with respect to, like, specifically vendor onboarding, any capacity building initiatives with respect to the Indian suppliers and manufacturers that you have undertaken, specifically since it's a new geography for electric cooking devices specifically.
Absolutely, it is a new geography, not just for electric cooking devices, but for a lot of electronics and appliances, which we are trying to bring to these customers. As of now, no, we have not. But I am very happy for a conversation with any manufacturer or anybody else who wants to do it. I will put down my email address here for anybody to reach out to me in case they want to connect.
Thank you. And I think we've come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Ravi ji and all the panelists for holding up the panel so well and having this discussion. I think we've heard right from the aspect that Mr. Hari Kumar raised with respect to the issues that the local distributors have when demand aggregation is done directly from the manufacturer itself, and they are not a part of the value chain for respect to the service offering. And we've heard with respect to economies of scale, role of women, and Anuva shared with respect to how they are working on innovative models to reach to rural consumers, and how consumer awareness is something which is plays a pivotal role. Thank you so much to all of you for being here and taking time out. And thank you for a great session. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.